One of the lead actors of the Fantastic Four First Steps just confirmed two new villains that are going to be in the movie, plus if Doctor Doom's going to be in the film. We also know how Doom's going to fight the X-Men in Avengers Doomsday, Luke Cage potentially returning to the MCU, and so much more crazy Marvel news. Let's get into all of this. And we're starting with the Fantastic Four First Steps because there is so much to get into with this movie. Starting off, like I said, Joseph Quinn, who is playing the Human Torch in this film, in an interview did just confirm that Mole Man will appear in the movie. Now, he is a way smaller, lesser known character. It's not like the confirmation that Mole Man in the film is actually that major, but at the same time, this is confirming another villain that's going to be in the movie because, in case you missed it, a week ago, Marvel held a test screening of the Fantastic Four to test how the general audience would receive the film, and people that saw it gave a very general description of what happens in the film, the plot online, and people didn't know to believe this or not. And now this next part is a very brief, minor spoiler for the very opening scene of the Fantastic Four First Steps. They say at the beginning of the movie, it shows a montage of the Fantastic Four fighting different villains like Mole Man, who, as we now know, Joseph Quinn just confirmed that, yeah, he appears in the movie, confirming that these people weren't lying. Which also means we're going to be seeing the villain Red Ghost and his chimps, because the people that saw the test screening said this was also included in the same montage with Mole Man. So it definitely seems like they're embracing a little bit more of the goofiness of the original comic books. We're going to see the Fantastic Four straight up just fighting against chimps. Like, come on, that's absolute cinema. Now, speaking of villains in the Fantastic Four movie, the director of the film, Matt Shakman, came out and confirmed that Doctor Doom will not appear in the Fantastic Four First Steps. In his interview with Empire Magazine, he literally goes on and says, yeah, I don't know what you guys are thinking. Doctor Doom is not in my movie, which I'm not gonna lie, he's probably not lying here. And it's not like he would obviously be able to come out and say, oh yeah, Doctor Doom's a big surprise cameo in my movie. But if you remember when the Thunderbolts movie came out, the post-credit scene for that was filmed by different directors. The Russo brothers filmed the post-credit scene, and it was only done like a month ahead of the movie's release. And the director even said, like, yeah, I didn't film that scene. I legitimately think there's an almost 0% chance that Doctor Doom does not show up in the post-credit scene of the movie. This is the second last movie we're gonna see in the MCU before Avengers Doomsday. He's a Fantastic Four villain and has yet to been teased anywhere else in the MCU. It just makes too much sense and would be such a missed opportunity to build up some hype, get a lot of positive word of mouth going to get people to actually go to the theaters and see this thing. Like I said, don't worry, we're going to get to some crazy Doomsday new leaks soon, but first we got more Fantastic Four news. And speaking of seeing it in theaters, tickets are available now on the day you're watching. I know this tweet says tomorrow, this is from yesterday. So if you live in a pretty big city, you probably want to move now and buy your tickets, because I live in a pretty small town and some of the theaters on opening night, like Thursday, were already like half sold out, which is kind of crazy. They continue going all out with their marketing scheme for the popcorn buckets. We got 17 inches of Galactus. Yes, that's the actual dimensions in the original announcement. You can see it's Galactus's head as the popcorn bucket. I will be buying this like an absolute idiot. They're selling a Herbie concession vessel. We've also got some different cups for each of the characters that look kind of lame, but I'm sure they're going to cost like $35 each, because that's just how these collectibles go at movie theaters. But they are really going all in on the marketing for this film. They even just announced all these different collabs with different cereal brands. Like they got Cinnamon Toast Crunch as the new Mr. Fantastic collab, Invisible Woman with Lucky Charms, Reese Puffs is the Things, and then Honey Nut Cheerio for the Human Torch. It's like Marvel definitely knows they need to get younger kids back invested in this universe, because a lot of the marketing has definitely been tailored towards that younger audience. Mike Coulter has actually been drawing some attention from fans because he randomly the other day just posted this Luke Cage frame on his Instagram story. Now, yeah, this is from the original Netflix show. A lot of people are like, oh my god, he's teasing his return in Doomsday, but what I think is more likely is that he's going to return in Daredevil Born Again. We already know Jessica Jones, she's confirmed to come back like 100%. They had a big announcement for that. And we know that Daredevil's trying to build up a pretty big team to take on Kingpin in this next season that they are currently filming, so it would definitely make sense to bring back Luke Cage and a bunch of these other defenders in this season. We are officially 4 months away from the new Marvel Zombies TV show that is kind of more like shorts instead. It's going to be about like 6 episodes, and apparently these are only going to be about 10 minutes long, but hopefully they can cook with this. I don't have much faith in it though, if I'm being honest. Last thing before we get into the crazy Doomsday stuff is that 2 years ago today, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse released in theaters. I don't know where the time goes. How was this 2 years ago? Like, I remember so vividly opening day of this film 2 years ago, and the fact that we're now still 2 years away from the sequel is kind of crazy, but hopefully it's going to be peak. As promised, we have some Doomsday stuff that are leaks from very reputable people, but I want to give you a brief spoiler warning for like events that could happen in the movie. Nothing like huge like deaths or anything, but just certain scenes if these do end up being true. first and smaller of this new Doomsday news is that Gambit, who we already know Channing Tatum, he's been confirmed, he was in the chair announcement video that they did. Apparently the movie's going to confirm that he is from the universe that Monica Rambeau traveled to in the Marvels, where she runs into Beast in the post-credit scene. So it's definitely going to be very weird to see how they involve all the other X-Men, because we know like Ian McKellen's coming back as Magneto and Patrick Stewart as Professor X. Are they all going to be from this other random universe that Beast was in that seems like it's kind of separate from the X-Men movies we watched? But it's also kind of funny looking back at this in hindsight how like this might end up being one of the most important post-credit scenes and how the X-Men fully tie into Avengers Doomsday, and it was set up in the Marvels, the film that was Disney's biggest flop of the last like 10 years that absolutely nobody saw, and this was the big setup piece. Like I said, this was in 2023. Did they really know that the X-Men were going to be in the next Avengers Doomsday movie back then and everybody just kind of brushed it off? Because I don't know, it kind of seems like that. This next one is pretty big. It comes from Daniel RPK. He says that Doctor Doom is going to be using the Sentinels to fight the X-Men in Avengers Doomsday. Now, the Sentinels are these creations obviously by Trask in the comics, and they're pretty much entirely designed to hunt down, track, and kill the X-Men. Again, I feel like this isn't like big climax at the end of the movie type of stuff. This definitely feels like a big opening scene where we see like the X-Men fighting the Sentinels. We have no explanation of what on earth's happening. And then like they defeat some of the Sentinels and maybe Doctor Doom comes down and fights them for himself or something. Now, if you want to hear about the full reviews from people that saw an early screening of the Fantastic Four First Steps that I mentioned earlier, click the video at the top of the screen. Or if you want to hear more Marvel news about Hulk being in Spider-Man, a new Black Panther TV show, and more, click the video at the bottom. And thank you so much for watching.